So this is the third lesson for our FPS game, and we're going to see if we can start moving around and seeing some things here. So the first thing we want to make sure when we look at our game here is that which way is forward. So this is my floor. It's going forward there. This is my player. It's going forward there. These are the parts all behind me, and actually, I think they're below me. Yeah. So I created a floor above their assets, and I moved everything up there. I actually created a empty game object called my game. So if you notice, theirs all closes. If you come up here, all of their parts, I created an empty game object and called it my game and started putting stuff up here too. So you don't have to do that. But you do want to create an empty game object called player. So create empty, name it player, and then within the player, you're going to right click and create a 3D object, capsule, and you're going to name that, well, I'm going to call it player object instead of capsule. All right. So, and you're going to have to put it on the floor. So my player is up here. Player object is there. So make sure it's on the floor. And from there, we're going to right click and we're going to add a character controller on the player. So it's down here, character controller. And do I see that? No. So, but anyway, I have a character controller on my player, on the player itself, on their empty game object. And player object, I have just my regular stuff here. So on the player, and remember the capsule is inside the player, so make sure it can be closed up. Don't worry, just worry about this one from now on. You're going to create that character controller, and then that script I gave you, you're going to move it in. So you're also going to create an empty called camera point. Okay, so you're going to, again, right click, create empty, and call it camera point. So when we take that script I put in Google Classroom, it's going to call for these. Now, the other thing we're going to need to do is create a camera script, which is pretty easy. I'll put it in Google Classroom. So we're going to have this camera script, and that's going to be so the player is going to be on there. Camera point we have here. So on our main camera, we're going to have the camera script. On the player, we're going to have the player script, and then the camera point will go inside there. So when we put it up, the script is going to prompt you to drag you're already going to have your character controller. You can just drag that down. You're going to have the camera point, which you're going to drag from here to there, and then mouse sensitive, you can set that. So, and on the camera, you're going to put the camera script on there. Okay, it's going to prompt you to drag this in, so you're going to drag the camera point in here. That's going to be the target. Okay, now make sure the camera point, when you make it, is right above your player. So depending where your player is, you want to get the same position. So my player object is here, so I'm going to have that same position just about for my camera point. The other thing we do is we need to make a game manager. So you're going to right click, create a C# script, Name it Game Manager, spelled just like that. Game Manager. Okay. No spaces. And you're then going to put this script on there. So I'm going to have 3 scripts on there. The Game Manager is then going to turn into this little sphere wheel once you put that script on there, once it sees it's an actual Game Manager. So we have the player we created, empty game object. We have the capsule we created, dragged under there. We also created an empty called camera point inside here. So, okay, that one has nothing in it. And then we're going to have our player. It's going to have the character controller and the script on it. You're then going to drag the, you can either, I think you drag the character controller here. No, you just drag the player over here. So drag the player in there, and then drag your camera point in there. On your camera, you're going to put the camera script, and you're going to drag the camera point in there, and then you're going to create a game manager, and you're going to have your script on that one, and it'll turn here. When we start playing it, we should be able to move. And I don't have physics on this yet, on this one particular one. So I'm going to have to put some rigid bodies and stuff on this one. So I start hitting it. But let's start one step at a time. When we move, we can move. We can look around. We can look up or down. So we, just like a real player, we can move, look up and down, etc. with using these scripts. We got the 3 scripts. So we have the player script, we have the camera script, and then we have the game manager script. So all those have been Google Classroom. Make sure you create your camera player move inside your scripts folder. Creating a new folder. And your game manager should change like that. Make sure you save a scene when it starts moving. Okay, and remember it's first person, so we don't see ourselves moving. We just move. And we'll start putting physics and everything on. Okay, get that done and give me an image. Now, we're going to start building, starting this week, we're going to start building to itch.io. So you're going to submit a game to me so I can play it. Otherwise, if I look at a still image, I have no idea if your player's moving. So you're going to build and run, and we'll put the thing inside there. But for this image so far, you can just give me this screen. And let me see if I can see these.